Hi, I'm Kristen Elise, and this is True Life Scriptures, and today we're continuing our series about pride and humility. So this week I'm teaching on how pride is prejudice, and I'm using the story about the prodigal son in Luke chapter 15 to share an example. So basically what happened was there was two brothers and a dad, and one of the sons, the younger son, felt that he was ready to receive his inheritance, and so he got the money and he took off, left the dad and his brother with all the responsibilities of tending to the farm and their land, and he went out and he spent the money on drinking, on partying, on prostitutes, and he ended up blowing the money really fast, and then he ended up in a place that was really bad where he was being very mistreated by the master whose house he ended up working at, and he ended up finally eating slop from the pig pen. And at that point, God had humbled him, and he came to the realization that he had life way better with his father and with his brother and doing the remedial tasks around the house than he did going out there and being in the world and living all extravagantly. So he came to his senses, and this is what happened from there. So he went back home to his father, and while he was still a long way off, his father saw him coming. His father was filled with loving pity. He ran out to meet his son. He hugged him and kissed him. His son said to him, "Father, I have sinned against heaven and you. I am not worthy of being called your son." But his father said to the slaves, "Quick, bring the finest robe in the house, put it on him, and bring a jeweled ring for his finger. Bring shoes too, and kill the calf we have in the fattening pen. We must have a feast, for this son of mine was dead, but now he has come back to life. He was lost, but now he is found." And so the party began. Sounds pretty good up until that point, but where pride and arrogance comes with his older brother that stayed and was, let's just refer to him as the good son. So meanwhile, the older son was in the field working. When he came back home, he heard dance music coming from the house. He asked one of the servants what was going on. "Your brother has come back," he was told, "and your father has killed the calf we were fattening. He has made a great feast to celebrate his coming home unharmed." The older brother was angry and wouldn't go in. His father came out and begged him to come in, but the son replied, "All these years, I've worked hard for you. I have never once refused to do a single thing you told me to, and you never gave me even one young goat for a feast with my friends. Yet this son of yours comes home, and he has spent much of your money on prostitutes, but you throw a great party? You kill the finest calf we have on the place?" "Look, dear son," his father said to him, you and I are very close. Everything I have is yours. But it is right to have a party, for he is your brother, and he was dead and has come back to life. He was lost and is found." So what that reminds me of is the ways that we sometimes perceive our relationships in our family. Like maybe you were always getting straight A's, and you were like on student council, you always did your chores. If your parents were having trouble paying their bills, you forewent your allowance, and you have a brother that is not only taking the allowance, but when you actually give yours up, they're like, "Well, I need this because I'm in a band, and we want to start going on all these tours of these coffee clubs or whatever these little venues are, so they could pursue their own lifestyle, even though it was financially or emotionally stressing out the family as a whole." So you may be sitting there feeling like, I've done nothing wrong, and yet I sit there, I see my mom and my dad crying, wondering when my brother's gonna come back home. I see my little sister getting let down when they're supposed to go to the movies for her birthday and they don't show up because they're out getting high, or they are too busy partying with their new girlfriend, which is like their 12th girlfriend this year, and they're tired of it, right? You're tired of it. So when you see that they've been gone for 3 months, and you see that your house is calming down, and you see that your parents are able to go to work, come home, everything's pretty much together, you get the opportunity to start branching out and experiencing life of being the good child. You get to see how your parents are like, thank you so much for doing your homework. It's really great that you've been working so hard. We really appreciate it. But we still don't have that much money because we're still sending your brother money to get new guitar strings or whatever it is like that. And you start getting this feeling of bitterness, and you start getting this feeling like, I'm better than my brother. I'm better than that. I would never leave our family like that. He's old enough to get a job. He could be helping like I'm helping, and whatever it is that you're feeling. The reality is that that brother is going through something, and that process that it's taking for God to humble them takes a while, because obviously the brother that left and spent all the money on prostitutes has a very hard head. Everything that he put out there into the world never came back. It never came back to him. It was all for nothing. And so he gave up his relationship and his place in the home and all the comforts that you appreciated, but he didn't, to find that out. And when he finally got to a place of recognizing that not only did he need the family that he left, but he also needed God, he knew that it was going to take a great deal of humility in order for him to come back and say, I just want to be here. I don't want to have all this nice stuff. I just want to be here with you guys. I'm sorry. And when you're sitting there and you're feeling that, how can you just take him back? How can you just say, because you went through some stuff which you caused, that's enough for you to just get this fatted calf and get this fatty party when I've been working my butt off this whole time while you've been gone, and I'm going to continue to have to do so, that it's okay for that to happen? Well, it's just like the Father said, we're very close, and whatever I have is already yours. But my son was dead out there, and now he's come back, and because he's your brother, he deserves to have this party. And not only that, but he wanted him to come in and join the party. So it's kind of like maybe I could use another example, that if somebody leaves the church, that they came in and they were struggling and everybody banded together and was like, we're going to get you a job, we're going to get you some clothes, we're going to support you, we're going to take you to these meetings that they have out there so you could get off probation or whatever it is. And that person makes the decision, and a foolish one at that, to leave and go back out into the world, and you hear about them like doing really bad. You hear that they're slamming dope now or whatever's going on, and you start to get this like puffed up feeling like, I knew that would happen, and I hope they never come back to this church. Well, I think that God had that example in the Bible for us to recognize that it's not just about the way that we perceive things. Sometimes there's a deeper message, and sometimes it shows us a little bit about ourselves that says, who am I to be so proud that I can't see that what that person needs is love? And that humility and love are the answers to pride and arrogance. And there's nothing that love can't fix. And I've learned that through the Bible. And I'm really grateful to have that, because I've been on the opposite side, and I was so grateful for my family to be forgiving of me and to take me back and to be willing to spend time with me and to be willing to share with me how grateful they are to still have me around. Because when I came back to God and I came into his house and I was welcomed, that's the reason why I stayed, And at the end of the day, when you love your family, you do have to put up with some stuff. And the best part about it is that it shows you that it can have the better outcome for you to put your pride to the side and your arrogance to the side and go in and have that party with your family. So I'm Kristen Elise, and this is True Life Scriptures. Love you.